Yuki Yoza won the Kyokushin Worlds aged 19. An extract taken from Beyond Kickboxing reads, around the time of junior high school, Yoza would begin to watch kickboxing on TV and would eventually fall in love with the sport. It was during this time that Yoza realised he wanted to become a professional fighter. Despite his eagerness to become a professional right away, he was advised that it would be wise for him to become a world champion in karate first, as this would aid him in his transition to professional kickboxing. This motivated Yoza to continue competing in karate all the way through university, where he would eventually become the youngest karate world champion in history at 19 years old. Well, that piece of advice certainly aged well for the young kickboxing star, who is now regarded as the #1 bantamweight and lightweight kickboxer in the world. Yoza's kicking game is wonderful. He makes it work at literally any range, having the ability to crowd himself, coming glove to glove with an opponent and still find a way to attack with his leg. The kick to the inside rear leg of an opponent has been named the Yoza kick, making Yuki Yoza somewhat of an innovator, a very difficult thing to do in the internet age, where there is pretty much nothing new under the sun in combat sports. Just go and spend half an hour on Instagram and you're pretty much going to see it all. The lighter weight classes have been dominated by Japanese fighters in kickboxing, and Yuki Yoza has taken this job seriously to uphold the Japanese name in the rule set they essentially created. He claimed the level was different in Japan before facing Aaron Clark under the K1 banner, and you couldn't argue with him as he absolutely styled on the man from Ireland. If you haven't seen this bout, I recommend going to watch it in its entirety. Something I like about Yoza is the way he blends his kick into punch combination. Not every kick has to land with power, and he'll often be found floating his leg to find an opponent in an attempt to either off balance with a trip or transition into a low kick with a little whip at the last second. He has a level of control over his lower extremities that can only be found with years upon years of dedicated practice. So I do apologise if you're hoping to kick like Yuki Yoza by the end of this video. Pro striking is not a miracle worker. Just look at the fluidity in this particular sequence. Left middle kick, into an off balance with the right leg, pushing Clark as he blocks his step, then into a teep, into a marching knee, before unloading a barrage of punches into the guard of Clark, punctuated by his trademarked Yoza kick. Understanding the calf kick has become a staple in mixed martial arts, but Japanese kickboxing has seen fighters using it for a while. Yoza practically spams it, using it to break down and debilitate his opponent. The variety of his kicking game makes him a nightmare, as it becomes near impossible for opponents to defend against every attack. He is constantly changing the angle of the kick, as well as the area of the body he's attacking. The calf, the quad, front and back leg, the body, toe kicks that stab into the liver, ground kicks that whip into the arms and up toward the head, with the majority coming off his lead leg, which is something I'd advise any up-and-coming fighter to invest time into. Kicking off the lead leg, the leg that is closest to the opponent, makes it much more difficult for them to defend it, as they have less time to do so. This is why when Yoza whips up a high kick off his front leg, it has a high percentage of landing. Another favourite of mine for this particular technique is Chingiz Alazov, current pound for pound #1 in kickboxing. Yoza's defence is essentially shell up and crowd the space, and then kick out their legs to take away their base. When an opponent is covering up from punches, they'll adopt a wide stance for stability. This is why their legs become a prime target. And Yoza is merciless with it. He's an excellent ring cutter, trapping his opponents in the corners or against the ropes where they can no longer retreat, and this is where he's able to deliver his combination. Would this style work well in the smaller gloves of getting so close to an opponent, or in a sport where extended clinch is permitted? Probably not, or at least not as effectively. But this is kickboxing, and Yuki Yoza is currently a K1 king. As always, thank you for watching the video. Pro striking appreciates you more than seeing Yuki Yoza punt people in the rear leg. If you'd like me to do any of the fighters or any moves in particular, leave a comment down below.